From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE as the Wall Street analysts are trying to figure out what they did wrong with Jay Powell. Yes, they had betted against the Federal Reserve and said that interest rate spikes would stop. Well, guess what? That is why the Dow Jones crashed dramatically on Friday, and that's why a big week is upon us. More companies downward guiding for the incredible rest of this week, and we'll go over what you need to know as the earnings recession continues left and right. But you need to go on this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, as more stimulus checks have become law. I'm going to go over all those incredible checks in today's recording from the shores of Santa Monica, California, on a beautiful morning of Mornings LA. The latest details is that Wall Street betted against the Federal Reserve. You don't do that. And that is why the stock market crashed 1,000 points on Friday, down 650 points a week ago today, and 150 points last Tuesday, and right now as well. The latest details across the board is Wall Street didn't listen. It sounds like some people who don't listen that there's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. It sounds like people who don't listen that gasoline's going up because the production is slowing and the demand is increasing. It sounds like people who didn't listen that the housing market would go into recession, and it is. The latest details across the board all featured in today's recording. But the great news is that there is now 12 categories of checks across the land that have about 100 to 200 checks in there that yield about $100,000 to $200,000. And in today's recording, we'll go over the success stories that have happened in the last few days. Lynn Glenn getting 12 months of utilities plus rent on top of that. Dragon getting $143,000 from this channel. We'll go over that as well. And then the other success stories a week earlier. Big money, a big day. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, good morning. We have a lot of money to go over on this August 29, 2022. Big stimulus from viewers who did listen. Big money from Wall Street executives that did not do what everyone else did. We'll go over the latest details across the board. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. It's a beautiful new morning of Mornings LA. We're going to go over everything you need to know as the excitement starts right here, right now on Mornings LA for August 29. And good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It is August 29, 2022, from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Big week underway as we ended a tumultuous week on Friday. Dow Jones crashed 1,000 points, is down about 200 points right now, is down 200 points last Tuesday, and down 650 points the week before on on the day after. Boy, just so much happening. We'll go over why. Then we'll jump over to that earnings recession as more companies downward guiding for the rest of this year. What you need to know, of course, that big stimulus. Now, 12 categories of checks that yield 100 to 200 checks. That a lifetime of stimulus on top of that. We'll go over everything you need to know to get that big money. The raise of your benefits. Wow, great news. Definitely going to happen. This is law. We'll go over how much at issue. And then we'll go over those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Stay to the very end. We have a lot of money to go over. You become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, and we'll go over those huge checks that viewers are getting left and right and that you deserve to get as well. Big money on a big day as the toast is toasting and the moolah is ruling. Big money. We'll go over every check. It is now check A all the way over to check M. New checks becoming law. Oh, so exciting. But how are you? It's a beautiful new week from that big money at issue, and it's going to be a very dramatic week across the board. Hope you're having a big, beautiful day. It's supposed to heat up later this week in Los Angeles. I hope it does not. It really is supposed to heat up badly. hot enough to burn some bacon? I think so. It's a big week, and it's just exciting. But last Friday, not so good. The Dow Jones crashing 1,000 points after it was down 600 points on Monday and then 200 points as well. Stay at the very end because we're going to go over big checks for you. Now 12 categories of checks, 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state you qualify for that are now yielding a whopping $100,000 to $200,000 because they're categories of checks. In those categories is 100 to 200 checks. Wow, it's incredible, great news. Why did Wall Street crash so dramatically on Friday, and how does it impact you? It impacts you because when the Wall Street numbers are so dramatic in a crash, everyone realizes there's something going wrong. Wall Street crashed 1,000 points on Friday because the Wall Street executives, the stock traders, bet against the Federal Reserve. You don't do that. The Federal Reserve had made very clear over the last 2 weeks from those Fed governors, they're going to do more interest rate spikes to battle inflation, starting when they return in September. Whether it was Boulard, Daly, or Bauman, all the Fed heads had said they're going to do it. And then Jay Powell spoke on Friday. He repeated basically what they said, verbatim. And then he actually had the following words. I want to be a little bit more direct on that. What does that mean? You're not listening. You're not listening. That's what Jay Powell said, and that's why Wall Street crashed. Who first told you Wall Street was going to crash? Me. Told you a week ago when there was a problem. I was the only person saying the Federal Reserve is going to do interest rate spikes starting in September all the way to December, 75 basis points, and Wall Street was saying, no, we're betting against the Fed's own words. We're betting against the Fed's own words, said Wall Street. You don't do that. The Federal Reserve said inflation has to go to 2%. It's currently 8.5%. How quickly does it fall? Well, they've been trying this for 8 months. Do you think it's going to fall dramatically? It's not. It doesn't move dramatically quickly from 8.5 to 2%. And that's why you need a lot of months of interest rate spikes. The Wall Street executive said no. They're going to do one in September and call it quits. And then Jay Powell said, we're going to stay with those inflationary spikes until we get to 2%. We'll do this consistently. And Wall Street was shocked. They should not, because this is what the Federal Reserve said they were going to do. That's why the Dow was crashing 1,000 points on Friday. That's why it was down 650 points on Monday. That's why it's down today 200 points, down 200 points last Tuesday. And it may still continue downward spiraling because they had betted against the Federal Reserve. You don't do that. The Federal Reserve has now made it very clear. Interest rate spikes will stay with us, and I was the first to say that. Interest rate spikes until you get to 2% inflation. It doesn't fall dramatically from where it is right now, 8.5 to 2%, very quickly. It takes a few months to move it, even a centimeter, a millimeter of movement. It takes a while. And that is why Wall Street did not see this coming. Of course, if they opened their ears, they would have heard it. Also, a major story heating left and right is the downward guidance from those companies. Their earnings projections for the end of this year, for the rest of this year, are very important because it impacts you. What happened all last week? Companies that were similarly situated guided downward for the whole rest of the year. And then other companies, the same industry, the same marketplace, beat. Here are some examples. Last week, we had Target miss top and bottom. Target, you shop at Target, they missed on revenue, they missed on profits. After they downward guided in the month of May, then guided lower in June, then guided lower in July, and then they missed the July number. Similarly situated, Walmart beat, BJ's beat. Let's go over to another industry. Beauty. Yeah, beauty. Let's put Estee Lauder in the competition. Estee Lauder versus Ultra Beauty. It feels like a reality TV competition. It feels like one of those performance shows. And so, did Estee Lauder win over Ultra Beauty? No, you never beat against Ultra. You don't never compete against Ultra Beauty because Ultra Beauty always win. Ultra Beauty beat on top and bottom again. They always beat, and Estee Lauder missed dramatically. Let's go to high-end. Kate Spade and Coach are owned by a brand called Tapestry, a company called Tapestry. Let's put Tapestry versus, in this competition, versus another high-end brand. And what is it? What is it? I forgot. The I forgot the other high-end brand. But that other high-end brand missed dramatically, and Kate Spade and Coach beat really well. So this is what's happening. Apple has been on a tear. Apple says they're going to sell as many iPhones by the end of 2021, that 2022 that they sold in 2021. This is what's going on. Is similarly situated high end beating and missing, low end beating and missing, middle of the core, tech beating and missing. That's why you can't bet on a forced bet against a forced stimulus check. There is a forced stimulus check in every USA, and you can't bet against it. You need to get it right now. How do you get it? You go onto this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. You get these checks because you cannot bet against this economy. It's too difficult to bet. And guess what's going to happen? We're going to go over all these incredible checks one at a time in the big second half. How do you get them? First, you go onto this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Then you get the membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alerts. And then you say the second half, because we're going to go over each of these incredible checks. It started with 3 checks passed in March by the executive action of Joseph Biden. Check A, Check B, and Check C. Those are 3 categories of checks, over 100 checks, and over $100,000 for you. Then, 2 Sundays ago, 7 new categories of checks became law by act of Congress. Those are checks E through K. Then, last week, I debuted 2 new categories of checks. Check L, like a lot, and M, like money. L is one check, about $100,000, and check M is categories, one category check, but lots of checks in there. Wow. It's about 100 to 200 checks over these A through M, and it's about $100,000 to $200,000 from A to M. How do you get it? You become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. And stay the second half as we go over these incredible checks. But now we're going to turn to, first, a very familiar situation. Inflation. Has inflation peaked or not peaked? Well, it has not when you look at the component parts. In the month of July 13th, 14th, and 15th, the inflationary numbers were released. Retail sales was a beat. Then the CPI, which is how much you pay for goods, Consumer Price Index, beat. The PPI beat as well. So we wanted to see the data on August 10th. Let's recap. In July and June and May, inflation continued to track higher. May was an 8.6% print for that CPI, which gauges how much you pay for goods like milk and eggs. Then that June number, how high was it? Let's see the number. Wow, 9.1%. So we wanted to see the July number released August 10th because this impacts your benefits. And what was that July number? It was basically flat, but the component parts were higher. This is your benefits going up, definitely going up across the board. And it's you, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and Veterans benefits. How much? Some of you 5,000, some of you less, some of you more. We'll go over how much in a second, but look at this calendar. July, August, and September, the CPI-W, a subsection of this, determines how much your benefits are going up. Let's slow it down and explain the details. Your benefits are tied to something called COLA, Cost of Living Adjustment, and it's determined by another number, the CPI-W for the month of July, released last week, August 10th. And then the August number released in September, and the September number released in October. We need to see that CPI basically flat or higher to understand how high your benefits are going up. But we don't have to wait every month for that CPI. Well, last Friday, the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index was released. Also, days earlier, the retail sales and the PPI, the Producer Price Index, how much the wholesaler price for goods. And what happened with all those 3 numbers? Flat. And we love flat because it basically says inflation's not going down. PCE, PPI, retail sales, all flat. But when you look at the component parts, oh boy, the component parts were up month to month. In that CPI print from August 10th, salaries flat, rent up, consumer products, what you pay for in the supermarket like milk and eggs, up, and gasoline lower. Right now, gasoline is going up. And right now, salaries are not going up. They're flat. And right now, the rent is either flat or going up. And also, the price of the goods in the market, basically flat or going up. Great news for you, because if it's flat or going up, your benefits are going up a lot. Remember, this is lifetime stimulus. Yes, lifetime stimulus. Why is that? Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. So let's say your benefits go up 10% this year. That's lifetime stimulus. They will never go down. So let's go back to the calculation. Do you have to do anything? No. It's direct deposit otherwise in the mail. Yes, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits. Some of you $5,000, some of you less, some of you more. But all of you with the same percentage raise across the board. So how much? Well, it's ultimately up for discussion. Do you believe, from looking at the milk and eggs in the supermarket, they're up or flat this month? Do you think the rent is flat or up? Do you think the salaries are flat or up? If you think they're mostly flat or up, you're in a good situation because your benefits are going up a lot. The Seniors League, when look at the data for that CPI last month, the August 10th print, well, actually, last month, but released on August 10th, said that your benefits are going to go up 10.1% if that stays where it is for 2 more months. Now, we don't have to wait out for every CPI. That's why we rely upon the PCE released last Friday, the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index, because it gives you an indication of inflation. Also, you can see and hear it in the supermarket, milk and eggs, the rent, the salaries, and the gasoline. Now, this is interesting. Gasoline, international price of Brent crude, straight up, going up this last week, going up right now. Domestic unleaded going down. Confusing, yeah. But ultimately, I think the Seniors League is conservative on the number. I think it's going to go up more across the board. Great news across the land. Now, this is why you have to get a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. You go under this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, and get these 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. There will not be any other stimulus from the federal government in the next 2 months. They're going on vacation in August. They're not back to September. They're not going to get you a check in September. They may not get you a check in October. And they may never get you a check. You want to become a member because these are checks for you. These are checks for you. Viewers are getting these checks. You don't want to wait for these checks because the checks may ultimately be gone after they get run out or run out of money. We don't know when that'll happen, but become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Get these huge sums of money via the newsletter delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for members. You go in the newsletter to get these checks. That's where the checks are. I'm going to go over all these incredible checks in the big second half. The first 3 checks, A through C, became law by the President of the United States in the month of March. He passed them by executive action, about $100,000. You qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you go get it. And if you're on benefits, go get it as well. Children without children, go get it as well. You qualify. How do you get these incredible checks? Step 1, you go into the video, join the channel. Step 2, you get that membership newsletter and go in and apply for each individual check one at a time. And guess what? I'm going to go over each individual check for you in the big second half. Become a member right today and get these huge checks. One of the benefits of becoming a member is not only the newsletter, but what's in it. In the newsletter is the worksheets down around the 3rd line. And here they are. It's a PDF. You could print off your phone or computer. You can also download to your phone and download to computer and write it on a separate piece of paper. Yes, phones are nearly 10 years old, are still able to download PDFs. Page 1, what is on page 1? Inflation. Well, that Personal Consumption Expenditure Index released last Friday shows inflation's flat. Housing industry shows that inflation's hitting. And that's indication also in recession, the next word in the page 1. A housing recession is underway. An economic recession is underway for this economy. 2 negative quarters of GDP growth have been posted. Labor, jobless claims released last week, basically flat. 240, 243, 245, 250. It's basically a flat number. And then the Federal Reserve. Oh boy. I'll have more about this on Afternoons LA, but I've been recording on this channel for over a month that the Federal Reserve is going to do 75 basis point interest rate spike in September. And every month thereafter, they meet once a month. The FOMC meeting once a month, September to December. Wall Street said no, and this is why Wall Street saw the Dow Jones crash. Jay Powell said, we're going to stay with it until they get to 2%. How long is it going to take you to get 2%? A long time. The next page of the worksheet is the one that people are winning on this. It's a page to keep track of all the checks you're applying for. Let's go over those checks right now. Check A, one category check, one check. Check B and C, one category each, but about 100 checks in B and C. Why? Rent and mortgage, then your 4 utilities, that's 5 bills per month. Average number of months of viewers are getting 14 months. 14 times 5 checks, oh boy, that's 80 checks. The difference for check C is in the membership newsletter, you have 12 places to reach out to. 12 places to reach out to for 80 checks. Wow, that's a lot of opportunities. You're not going to call up one place and stop there. No, you're going to reach out to all 12. And you got to keep track of it in this worksheet. Dragon reveals over the weekend she got $143,000 from this channel. We also have the wonderful Spelly. He got check A and check C. The viewer out of Florida got 80 to 100 checks from check B. We also have that one viewer over the week, 2 Sundays ago, got 14 months of rent. The day before that, another viewer got 14 months of rent. Another viewer got 12 months of utilities. Lynn Glenn reveals over the weekend she got 12 months of utilities plus rent. You got to keep track of it on this page of the worksheets. Oh, incredible success stories. The next page of the worksheet is your benefit raise and also gasoline plus the latest details on student loan debt forgiveness. Gasoline, international price of Brent crude, tracking higher. Was 92 last week, the lowest we featured on this channel since February, before Putin invaded Ukraine. Went up all the way to 104. It's going to continue to go up, while the domestic unleaded is falling every day. Why is it? We'll go over that in afternoons LATE and a little bit in the second half. For now, you want to get these 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. In the big second half, we're going to go over every check, those 12 categories of checks that you deserve. That's coming up in the big second half of this recording today. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, there's so much money for you. Become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. And the big second half, we're going to go over all these incredible checks one at a time. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Mornings LA continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues right now in a big second half of August 29, 2022 of Mornings LA. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering on big second half. And boy, we got a lot to go over. So exciting. Of course, that 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. It's not one check. It's 100 plus checks, over 12 categories of checks. And guess what? We're going to go over all those 12 categories starting right now. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000  4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. And this is the check that Spelly got. A single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. How do you get it? Step 1, you go under the video and subscribe. Go under the video and become a member as well. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. And go under the video and get these big checks. You deserve them across the board. You're not done there yet. you're going to go get Check B. Check B is $15,000 to $80,000, a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. This is a check that you out of Florida got. Huge sums of money. You deserve it right now. And how do you get it? You go into the video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Then get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alerts. Now remember, it's the YouTube alerts, not the LALATE.com alerts. It's the YouTube alerts. Go down to where it says Check B, click the link, go right in, apply. Huge. That's $100,000 of checks between Check B and Check A. But now we're going to jump over to Check C. Check C predates fourth stimulus, predates third stimulus. We've been getting this on this channel for nearly 2 years. And this is the check that Lynn Glenn got, Spelly, the viewers over last week, the 14 months and 12 months, huge. It's for rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. You're going to become a member. You're going to go down in the membership newsletter Monday through Friday to where you see Check C. And it's going to tell you 12 places to reach out to. You're going to reach out to all 12. You're not going to reach out to one and call it quits. It's going to tell you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. And the Check C success stories have been on this channel for 2 years. This channel has gotten people $50 million. But let's take a step down memory lane and look at some of the success stories for Check C. And those success stories include the wonderful money for rent. Do you want this money for rent? Then go get it. From Nisi all the way up to Elizabeth, wow. Do you want the numbers for utilities? Well, go get it. Lynn Glenn, of course, got 12 months of utilities. Oh, look at this money. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. Then the same brother-in-law is getting $250,000 over 10 years for SNAP. And do you want the combinations? Of course you do. You want rent and utilities. Nisi was at $23,000 now. She's at $50,000. Mark was at $32,000. Then he went to a whopping $166. Here's Mark right now. He was at $50. Then he got check. Then he went to $100. He went to Check B and got it as well. Here's Lorraine, who celebrated a birthday last week. She was at $105. Then she went to $155. Wow. Huge success stories. What do? They keep on applying for checks. 2, they're in all the live chats because there's always new checks happening. 7 new checks becoming law 2 Sundays ago. 2 new checks debuted on this channel last week. They keep on pouncing for these checks. Margaret got new money for her utilities last week. Margaret has been getting money for just years and years on this channel. That's what you do. Let's recap. 12 categories of checks, but not 12 checks. 100 to 200 checks. And let's now go into the checks of E through K. E through K were the checks that were made law by Congress 2 Sundays ago. And they're huge. They're categories, but also single checks. Let's go through E to K that all appear in the membership newsletter after Check C. E through K are huge. E is a whopping $7,500. F is $4,000. G is 30% off. H is $2,000. I is $8,000. J is $8,000. And K is $14,000. My goodness, that is pure deliciousness. Now, the 2 new checks debuted on this channel last week are L and M. L and M like lots of money. And what are they? Well, M is $100,000 for the purchase of a home, loan interest-free money, just huge across the board. And then M is wonderful, $4,000 of closing costs on average. My goodness, so much money, so little time. You want to get these incredible sums of money. Now let's recap. That is a whopping, massive A through M of checks. Number 2, it's not one check, but 12 categories of checks. 12 categories of checks that carry about $100,000 to $200,000 and 100 to 200 different checks. Next, remember, you qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or railroad benefits, go get it. There will be no other stimulus from Congress of the President of the United States. In at least 60 days, there may never be any other stimulus. We fight for stimulus on this channel. That is the true spirit of the Purple Hawks, and congratulations to all the wonderful viewers who've been getting these monies since March. It's just incredible. Let's understand. If you picked up broadcast media today, what are they talking about? Student loan debt forgiveness over and over again, just over and over again. It's just the same story. And then if you look on other broadcast media where they're covering much of nothing. I mean, just, yeah, the corporate earnings season is sort of slowing out. We'll have new housing data. I think it's tomorrow, the day after. But they're basically just repeating stuff that no one wants to hear anymore. What am I doing? What are we doing? What is the Purple Power family of this channel doing? We're getting these checks. We're going out and applying for these checks. And when new checks become law, we're pouncing. My focus is threefold. One, to find you big checks, because I was the first to report, to record, to state, to give you the analysis that we're going to have 2 years of recession. I said it in early 2022, and I'm saying there's going to be 2 years of recession. You're going to need big checks to survive 2 years of recession. Number two, I was the first to record that we're going to have inflationary pressures in this economy for a long time. I said that in spring of last year. 8% inflation, pervasive, not coming down quickly. And this has happened. And you can't afford $5 a gallon for milk when it should be $2 a gallon. That's what Jay Powell spoke about on Friday. He talked about entrenching the higher prices of goods in the market. You can't afford higher prices of goods in the market indefinitely. You don't get more benefits checks monthly. You don't get more salary checks monthly. Yeah, that's why you need this big sums of money. And you need broad eligibility, so make sure you qualify. We found it. And number three, a simple, easy place to find it, the membership newsletter. Let's go over that membership newsletter right now. Delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, hear that again. It's Pacific Standard Time. So you need to adapt if the time zone is not Pacific Standard Time. For example, if you're in New York, then that is 10 o'clock. You're 3 hours ahead of me. You need to adapt quickly. Let's look at that incredible newsletter right now so we see it together. The LA newsletter is delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Central is 9 o'clock, so make sure you remember that. You got to listen and learn to earn. Next, it's sent via the YouTube alerts. YouTube alerts. It's not sent via the LALATE.com alerts. They're very different alert systems. And I'm getting some questions about that LALATE.com alert system. Here's what you need to know. The LALATE.com alert system has an alert when new videos go live. And it used to say, hi, the newsletter has come out on YouTube. It used to send you an alert that says, hi, it's now come out on YouTube. But the issue is that there's now 3 channels to this broadcasting family, LA1, LA2, and LA3. So it doesn't make sense to tell people it's on the channel if they're a member to another channel. Yeah. So now the alert from LALATE.com basically says, hi, go watch the YouTube alert, which is the only alert you should have ever been watching for the newsletter. Again, the YouTube alert. If you've never seen it or you're a new member, let's look at it right now. Here it is. Here's the YouTube alert. Notice who's sending you the alert. YouTube, written by me. Notice the title of the alert. YouTube. Notice the content of the alert. It says new newsletter. This is sent to you. Look at the time in the corner, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Want to see it up close? Let's look at it up close. Here is it up close, the YouTube alert. See it? Sent via YouTube. Here's the first line, Allied Membership Newsletter, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. This is the only one that's sent out at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. There's the guy. This is the YouTube alert. See the 4 mailboxes past the guy in the YouTube alert? Below him, and view post in the YouTube alert. Look at that. You click the link and send you right into the membership newsletter. You're ready to rock and roll. So simple. Go get those big sums of money. Here is what you need to know. I'm so proud of you. Keep on pushing. Keep on getting more months of rent, more months of utilities. We were talking about 3 to 4 months for these items just a year ago. Now viewers are getting 14 months. Keep on getting these big sums of money. When new checks become law, get those new checks. We were at 3 checks just 2 weeks ago. Now we're at 12 categories of checks of 100 to 200 checks. Look how quickly this channel has expanded. And you want to stay a member. So if you are a member, you want to stay a member because the newsletter is so different now than it was 1 week ago. The newsletter a week ago featured 3 categories of checks. Now it features 12 categories of checks. And how many new checks will become a law by the end of this week, or new checks I find? We'll see what happens. You deserve these checks across the board because a recession's underway. And we'll analyze our recession on Afternoons LA. Here's what I have to say about it right now. You don't get to say there's no recession based upon one data point of the labor rate, the unemployment rate. You don't get to say that because the jobless claims are not low. The housing market is in a recession, says the National Association of Home Builders. The earnings recession is clearly underway, with major companies downward guiding for the rest of this year. Yeah, you don't get to say there's no recession based upon one data point. Ultimately, data leads on this channel, and data includes your stimulus. We lead with the data, and we inspire other people with the data, whether you're Mark or Nancy or Lorraine. We inspire one another. If you have a success story, send it to me on private message on social media. I'll feature it on this channel. Coming up next is the 11 o'clock edition of this channel, noontime. And guess what? We have a beautiful show today at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Big show with the latest of your money. You want to go on this video and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. And I'll see you then as the news continues. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.